That's what I'm talking about. There's something in there. There's something inside people that do the hard stuff all the time, every day. It's an anger. It's a motivating factor. It's something special, and I'm not going to say it's different for everybody, because a lot of us have anger. A lot of us have this passion, this drive to be something better, be something bigger. And that is the motivating factor that can make you do the hard stuff day after day after day after day. I don't care where the anger comes from. It could be coming from people that tell you to quit, that tell you that you can't do what you're trying to do because they don't do it. They don't get it. They're clock punchers. They don't want to be different, but you do want to be different, and it's okay. And whether it's anger, whether it's a vision of you doing bigger and better things, obtaining the things that you want in life, whatever it is, those of us that do the hard stuff every day, we have that thing. And you need to find your thing and you need to use it. And if you have it and you know what it is already and you're not using it, that's a mistake. Get to using it. Start using it and keep using it, because eventually you're going to get to a point where you don't even really rely on it. You don't need it anymore. It's going to be in the background, and your success is going to be your driver of continuing to push you forward, and your love for what you're doing and your passion, because it turned out so well. And that's going to happen to you. Right now, though, use the anger, use the imagination of the life that's to come, and use it to do the hard stuff every day. All right, so this is going to be my second set. I got to show you how smooth this bar is. So this is called the Oppen bar, made by Alico. It's really nice. I know they have an upgraded version now because good companies make new generations of their products. I have their first version. It's so nice because you don't need a deadlift jack to unrack and rack heavy 45-pound, 35-pound, 25-pound plates. All you do, you just tip it up, and it's already tipped up now, so you can see there's a little bit of space under those plates. And then when you're ready to go, you just tip it back and you're all set. I really like the open bar format for deadlifts. I actually think it's superior to a straight bar deadlift. I don't care about a powerlifting competition. I'm not doing that. I'm trying to maximize hypertrophy, muscle growth, and just feel good throughout my years of training. So the open bar is nice because there's really nothing in front of you. It tends to be a little bit softer on the back, and that's what I'm a fan of. You can be a little more flexible with the bar path. All right, so that's a nice easy warm-up set. It's not going to be a heavy day. Probably going to hit, I'll do the math, but should be around 235. I want to keep it a little bit on the lighter side today and make sure to get a big high AMRAP set. Yeah, so that's the Oppen bar now. I'm going to have to go up a little bit. I'm going to have to take these 25s off, so you can see I just tip this up, then I'm all set. Pop it off. Load up a 45 for the next set. So you can see I threw on the next 45. The thing about the Oppen bar, it's a 55-pound bar. So it looks like 225, but I'm hitting 235 here. That's what I was planning. And I'm almost ready to go. A little quick tip on a belt. If you're able to wear your belt between your sets, you're not using it right. You want to cinch this thing down real tight, suck your stomach in, breathe in. Breathe out, actually, if you need to, because that's going to make your stomach a little smaller. I misspoke there. Breathe out, get it cinched down nice and tight. Now you can tell, see, this is cinched up. I'm not going to be able to wear this during my rest periods because I want to breathe freely. So like I said, if you are able to wear your belt, your whole workout during your working sets and your rest periods, you're not using it right. So tighten it up, keep it on for the set, and then it should be uncomfortable, and you should want to take it off during your rest periods. All right, nice set of 8 here. Let's get this done. Okay, that was a quality set. I felt really good about that, and I want to get this belt off. Now, one thing I want you to think about when you're doing your deadlifts, and you're going to notice this if you replay my reps that I just did. My hips and my shoulders are rising and falling together. So when I'm coming down, my hips and shoulders are rising and falling together. I can just see this in the mirror in front of me. That's one cue tip, or one mental cue, I should say, for really nice conventional deadlifts that activate glutes and quads. And that's one of many tips, but it's also one of the best ones that I can give you. What I want to do today during these sets of deadlifts is I want to make sure to give you a tip. I want to give you a tip for every set. So last set, make sure your shoulders and your hips are rising and falling together when you do conventional deadlifts. This is not a Romanian deadlift. This is not a straight leg deadlift. With those versions, this tip would not hold up. But conventional deadlifts, for great form, make sure those shoulders and hips rise and fall together. Now, this is my next set, so I need to give you another tip. And I'm gonna have to think of one on the spot because all right, so the next tip. It's tempting to look up, to look straight up and flex your neck and kink your neck back because you're lifting the weight up off the floor. So it's tempting to look in that direction. However, you want to try to keep more of a neutral line of sight. Some people will look down and tuck their chin into their chest. Personally, for me, I don't like doing that too much because it kind of makes me lean forward or fall forward. And it does that with good mornings as well, which I'll talk about at some point down the line. So looking straight down for me, it makes me lean forward, and deadlifts are not about that. Conventional deadlifts especially are not about that. It's actually about hinging back, pushing back. So I like to keep more of a neutral line of sight. I don't worry about tucking my chin excessively, but I also don't worry about looking up excessively. I'm gonna look at the floor about 10 feet in front of me. That's what I like the most. All right, so I'm just gonna hit this next set of 8. Shouldn't be bad. It's a totally manageable working weight here. Watch my hips and shoulders. Okay, that was 8 or 9. It's easy to miscount when you're in the moment. And you're thinking about all other types of form cues. But, like I said, got it done. My line of sight was just down here. I'm not trying to kink my neck back, and I'm not trying to tuck my chin. I recommend either the forward look or the chin tuck. I don't recommend looking up for anyone, actually. Okay, man, set 3. Now set 3 of a GST training day of the core lift, which is the first lift, is an AMRAP set. What that means, in a nutshell, is AMRAP as many reps as possible before hitting muscle failure or form breakdown. Now deadlifts, higher rep deadlifts tend to produce form breakdown. So when you're doing deadlifts for an AMRAP set, you want to make sure that you keep that in mind and you are honest with yourself in the moment about how your form feels. If it's breaking down, you want to stop. It's not worth pushing through poor form, ending up injured, and then you can't deadlift for, a month. You don't want to do that. Keep your ego in check. Make sure that your form feels good. And if you feel it breaking down, stop the set. Generally, with deadlifts, you're probably going to hit form breakdown before you hit muscle failure. They're going to be close together because one could argue that muscle failure causes form breakdown, but also just higher reps. You can zone out a little bit. You can forget your mental cues. You might not be able to think of that for 15 to 20 reps straight through. Just try to keep tabs on it. That's the best thing I can say. Keep tabs on it and be honest with yourself. So I am probably going to hit this set and I'm going to be out of breath. So I'm not really going to offer any tips afterwards. Again, watch the hips and shoulders rise and fall together. I'm going to be looking down here in front of me. My line of sight is down. I don't do the chin tuck. I definitely don't do the straight up. I just do in between, leaning more towards a downward line of sight. All right, so I'm going to hope for 16 to 20 reps here. Obviously, this is a big set. All right, dial it in hard, focus on form, keep going. Ooh. 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 Okay, that's it. Pretty sure that was 20. I want to get out of this belt and I want to catch my breath. See you for the next exercise. Whew. So if you remember, today is all about the posterior chain. The posterior chain being calves, hamstrings, glutes, spinal erectors, and traps, muscles of the upper back. So my first accessory lift, or supplement lift as I like to call it, I call them the sups. My first sup lift is going to be low bar good mornings. Now, low bar good mornings. I do low bar because it feels a lot more stable on my back when I come down, when I fold over. I'm folded over, so if the bar is in traditional high bar position, that bar is going to want to roll forward. And I don't like that. I like to feel stable, feel solid, easily maintain that back arch as I go through these reps. So let me show you what it looks like. I'm going to do a set facing away from you, and then I'm going to do a set facing forward. I feel, better about just facing you because I think that's honestly a better angle. I mean, I'm not here on Instagram trying to show my ass off, but I do think it's important for you to see the low bar position. Yeah, actually, just let me get this on here. All right, so this is low bar position. The bar is resting on my rear delts. They're creating a shelf, and it's much lower than the traditional high bar position. So I think what I'm going to do, now that you've seen that, I'm going to turn around, I'm going to face you. All right, low bar position. And I'm gonna get that nice fold over. This should be a good set of low bar good mornings. So driving back, definitely not afraid to bend my knees. Ooh. Getting folded over as much as I feel comfortable with. So there's hamstring stretch, glute stretch, and then glute drive to finish up each rep. Okay, now what I'm not used to is backing up. Kind of sketchy. Not too bad though. Okay. One thing I think about when I'm doing good mornings is I try to feel my stomach get in between my quads. And that happens because I'm arching my back heavily. I'm pushing my stomach out to brace. And at the bottom, you know, it just ends up happening. Like I'm getting down there, stomach is pushed out. Here my stomach is in between my upper quads right there. That's a good form tip for you to follow when hitting these low bar good mornings. Time for another set now. What I decided is I want to show you the side angle. I think that's really important with this one. A lot of form critique videos should be actually done from the side. Like if you're going to send your coach a form video of a squat, a deadlift, a lot of those videos should be from the side because it's very important to see the back arch, the depth, where the knees are going, where the hips are going. Videos from the front are also valuable though, because from the side I can't see, or your coach can't see, how far your knees are apart. Are you caving? You don't want knee cave, but you also don't want to be bow-legged. You don't want to look like an old cowboy. You want to just have your knees, well, you know, that's for a different video. I'm not going to get into that. That's squats. Bottom line is, if you're going to send in a form video that you want critiqued, get an angle from the side and get an angle from the front. So I'm doing this from the side angle because I want you to see the depth of my upper body. I want you to see the degree of my knee bend. Those things are going to help you understand where I want you to be when you're doing your good mornings. You're also going to be able to see the bar position too, which is really nice. All right, low bar. Get that on the rear delt shelf. All right, up and off. Now, I'm going to hip hinge, so I'm going to push back a lot. That's really all I'm going to do. My knees might move forward a little bit, but not too much. Okay, very clean set. As I was doing the set, I was thinking about tips that I should tell you when I'm done. All right, tip number one. Now, I was looking, you notice that I was looking forward. I just told you when I was doing deadlifts, don't kink your neck up. Personally for me, on good mornings, I do actually like to look forward because I like to see myself in the mirror. I like to see how far apart my knees are. I like to try to make sure that I stay symmetrical because my right ankle has a tendency to cave in. And I like to try to fight that. I like to try to stay on the outer edge of that right foot. That's just me personally. That's just my structure. That might not be you. But I look forward especially because when I look down when I do deadlifts, if I tuck my chin and look down, what happens to me is I feel like I fall forward and I don't have as well of a balanced position. That doesn't work well. That's counterproductive to quality good mornings where it's all about going back. You'll notice when I was doing them, my hips are moving back and then forward. I mean, they could be moving as much as, say, like a foot, maybe even more. It's all about the pushback, visualizing your body as two pieces. You have the lower piece from the waist down, and then you have the upper piece from the waist up. The upper piece really doesn't change position during the entire set. It's statically held, and you'll notice that. It's just rocking down. Here, if this is my upper body, you know, I'm standing up, my back is arched, it's pushing down and back. So my hips are here, the bar's up here, and then when I shoot my hips forward, it pushes up. It doesn't change position. It's not doing this during the set. It's statically locked, just sliding back, sliding forward, back, forward. And my lower body, let's try this. It's doing the same thing. I'm standing up and it's hinging back. Here's my knees. Here's my hips. I'm forward. It's hinging back and then it's shooting forward. Hinging back, shooting forward. And at that same time, it's back. My upper body is over. When it comes forward, my glutes drive my upper body into that upright position. That's how you want to think about good mornings and hip hinge movements like deadlifts, Romanian deadlifts, and of course, good mornings. All right, I'm going to take a break, little break, because that was a long break in itself, and then I'm going to get into the next set. You know what? I think that was long enough. It was probably a couple minutes. So let's just get into this last set, get these out of the way, and move on. Okay. Actually, I think I can go one tighter here. Okay, cinched up. Remember, if you can wear your belt during your rest periods, you're not using that belt right. Low bar position. Check everything out in the mirror. Up and off. This should be an easy set. Great quality reps. Hip hinge. Fold over. Drive back. Now I lower slow because that allows me to think about all the things and stay in control. And then I explode up. Okay, so I just remembered what my other tip was going to be. When I'm doing these reps, I want to make damn sure that the bar doesn't roll forward at the bottom of the motion. I realize it's hard to do that when I'm keeping a nice arched back. But as I'm coming down, I'm pulling down with my lats, biceps. I'm pulling the bar harder into my rear delts. That's keeping it in position. It's keeping me confident that the bar is not going to move, and it just makes everything feel better when you're doing those low bar good mornings. You don't need the bar rolling around. It's a cylinder, it's on your flat back, it can easily roll around. So grip it tight, pull down. As I fold over, I'm actually pulling more because that's when it's most likely to move when I'm in motion. At the top, I'm more relaxed. At the bottom, I'm locked in. It's pulled down tight. Okay, that's 3 sets. Let's move on. Okay, let's do this. Sup number 3, actually sup number 2 is Bulgarian split squats, meaning I'm going to be hooking my back foot on these rollers, 1 roller at a time. And I'm going to be squatting down single-legged, make sure that I get my knee to the floor, feel a quad stretch in the back leg that's hooked up on the roller, but I'm going to focus on the leg that's forward. I'm going to focus on my quads and my glutes, actually my glute of the leg that's forward. I want to try to do as little with the back leg as possible. I want to try to do as much as possible with the front leg. So, split squats. This is a quad dominant movement. Also heavily involves the glutes, and that's why it's perfect for today. I want to work my glutes, but as you know, with GST, it's a twice weekly training frequency program. So this day is all about the posterior chain, but I have to bring some quad focus into this day because that's how I hit my twice weekly training frequency. When I do my other leg day, that's quad focused, I'll also bring some posterior hamstring focus into that day. All right, so this is high bar position, just like doing a traditional squat. Now, if I put my foot in front real far forward and I have to reach back a lot for the roller, that's going to stretch out my glute, make it a little more glute dominant, and I'm not going to get as much quad feeling, so I'm going to lose some quad focus. So what I like to do is just pull back a little bit so I force more knee bend and force my quads to work harder. You can definitely tell, you can feel a difference between the 2 foot positions. All right, so reaching back, hooking at the ankle joint, squatting down, letting my knee hit, and driving back up. Now I'm focusing on the front. I need to just focus so I can stay balanced. Focusing on the front leg. Making sure to flex out those quads. Squeeze the glute a little bit. Okay, so admittedly, you're able to focus on your quads easier during these, just because they're gonna flex out completely. They're out in front, you know, your knee's bending a lot. The quads work to straighten the knee. So when I'm straightening the knee, it's easy to think about quads. That's what you want to do during your split squats. Now this movement is going to leave you out of breath. You know, I don't really care if you're in shape, if you're not in shape. I've seen people go through full workouts, feeling good, feeling fine cardio-wise, and when they start doing split squats, they start breathing heavy, they start sweating. So if you notice, I'm taking a break, a complete break between each leg. And I like to do that because this left leg was fired up from that set. Now, if I go right into that next set with my left leg back, inevitably, you're gonna try to push with the back leg. You know, as you're coming up, you're gonna try to push down with it. You're gonna try to extend the knee. And again, your quads are gonna do that. Now, if those quads are already filled with lactic acid and you're feeling them right at the set or at the start of the set, you're going to get distracted by the burn in the back leg. You don't want to have that because you want your mental focus to be on the front. So now I've had some time. Now I'm going to get into the next leg and feel better about it. I'm going to be able to focus on the right portion of my lower body. So that is going to be the quads of my right leg and the glute of my right leg. Full depth. Okay. Bulgarian split squats, it's the worst move to lose count of your set on because you don't want to fall short. So you tell yourself, man, I got to do an extra. These already suck. I think I might have done 11 reps there, but probably just 10. Time for set 2. Now here's a different angle. I'm doing this angle because I want to show you the difference between foot positions, as in how much distance I have between the roller and my front foot. When you think of your position in space when you're doing a split squat, a Bulgarian split squat, you want to try to just remove the back leg from your vision and think about your upper body position and your lower and your active leg position. So if I have a big step out in front here, and this is probably better if I do it this way. So if I have a big step out in front and I really have to reach back to find that roller, okay. So at the top, you know, my leg is straight. At the bottom, I have to, you know, come down and back. So here's the floor. Now this is more like I really had to sit back in this as if I was doing a box squat, like a wide stance or even narrow stance box squat, where I'm pushing back into it. I'm leaned over more, and we all know that is more of a glute dominant, hip dominant squat. You'll commonly see powerlifters doing it. And I'm forced into that position. My back leg stays on the roller. I have to come back, down, find the floor, and then drive back up. Now, if I pull my leg back more, and the roller's in the same position, so I'm doing the same movement, watch what happens. So I'm still coming back. This is different. I'm not pushed back as much. I feel less glute stretch. I get a little more knee bend, and I drive back up. It's much more quad focused. Even just standing here, I can feel it's different. It's more quad focused, driving up. I don't usually do this, but you could go back farther, and then, you know, you're folded up more, driving up. So the main difference is between really having the foot out in front and then having it back to a more normal, less stretched out feeling position. That's what I wanted to illustrate from the side view. Let me just get into this set. I'm here, I'm rested. I want to get it done. I love these exercises, or these reps, this exercise I should say, but it's definitely a love-hate relationship because it does suck when you're doing it, but it's so rewarding when you're done just because it sucks so much. All right, not too far out in front. Get hooked, get balanced. Touch that back knee down. Make sure you hit full range of motion. Quad focus. Quad focus. All right. So I'm gonna let that rest. Let that simmer for a little bit. Let my body flush away that lactate. Whew. One thing I will say with Bulgarian split squats, if you're doing them the way that I'm doing them, at the bottom, you're gonna get a nice outer glute stretch. I really like that. I have yet ever to do sets of Bulgarian split squats and not be sore in the glutes the next day. Quads, yes, guaranteed. Glutes, for me, also yes, guaranteed, because when I'm coming down, I get that stretch, a muscle that's stretched under tension, under resistance, and working is, that's a recipe for soreness. That's also a recipe for big growth. If you can stretch out a muscle during a weight training set where you have resistance on it, if you get that stretch at the bottom of the rep, you're gonna see more growth from that type of work. And that is a testament to full range of motion. It's a benefit and a reason why you should always push for full range of motion. All right, next leg. Get in, get it done, get out. Remember, I'm trying to push with my front leg. My back leg is for balance. It's for increasing the difficulty of a split squat. And the work is on the front. Oh, nice. So rewarding. Whew. Yes, okay. That's it. That's it, man. It's good to get these out of the way. That's set number 3. I didn't film number 2. So 3 sets done. Again, got to get some quad focused work into this posterior chain focused day because of twice weekly training frequency with GST. So that's it. I'm done. The day's over. Let me give you a quick rundown. I'm going to close this video out, and then I don't have a lot of time right now. I got to go get groceries. Me and Jess are going to get groceries and get some good stuff for the kids, get some good stuff for us. You know how it goes. And I'm definitely going to hit Chipotle for that post-workout meal. I need it. Today is a big day. Lift day is a huge day. So deadlifts, low bar good mornings, Bulgarian split squats, face pulls, leg curls, seated calf raises, and kneeling cable crunches. You can tell it's a big day, and it's posterior chain focused. That's the name of the game when it comes to GST Lift Day. I got the split squats in to make sure that I hit my quads, give myself some of that twice weekly quad frequency. I make sure to get the calves in, of course, round that out. Make sure to get abs in because I like to throw in abs on my leg days. I think it's the best spot for it. It doesn't really get in the way of anything. Leg day works a lot of core with the compound moves that I do. It works the lower back and the mid back, those erectors, and so I like to hit the antagonist muscle groups of those muscles, which are my abs. So I like to do abs on leg day. That's why I threw in the kneeling cable crunches. And then I mentioned that I was working the muscles of the upper back, traps, rear delts. That's where those cable face pulls came in real handy. So I think that's it. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Like I said, it's time to get groceries, time to get that Chipotle. I'm going to hit that new chicken al pastor, mild salsa, corn salsa, a little bit of cheese, a little bit of lettuce, white rice, black beans. And I'm looking forward to it, man. That's going to be so good. All right. I'll talk to you later. You have a good day. It's Friday. Like I said in my story earlier, if you're going out tonight on Friday night, you got to earn that shit first. And I just did that in the gym, and I hope you do it too. See you later. Bye-bye.